Hey Chris, this is my grad school panel video. I don't actually have a webcam, so I'm just using my phone, but I'll send you a YouTube link. So first off, as far as the three concepts go that I learned from the panel, I highlighted a couple of my notes, and a couple things that really stood out to me. One thing obviously was like, I wrote it down in quotes, like, are you only planning this graduate program because you're scared to death of what comes next? And then I forgot who it was in question, but they said, if fear is motivating that decision, you should take a year. And I thought that was really powerful, not only for me, but for like a lot of other people I know who are trying to go to grad school right out of their undergrad. Because it is kind of scary to be like, oh, like what are you going to do with like an undergraduate degree in psych? Like I know there are lots of jobs, obviously career explorations kind of open my eyes up to that, but still I imagine it's scary for me, and it's scary for a lot of other people, and sometimes a graduate school really just feels like a logical next step, and there can be like a pressure to attend grad school in a similar way that there's like a pressure to attend a bachelor's instead of just getting a high school diploma. So I thought that was really, really powerful, and I've considered a gap year for a while, but that really made me think about it. Another thing was I wasn't really like aware of this. Like I may have heard something about it, but I was I don't know. I just hadn't really like heard it outright before. And that was that one of the people you interviewed mentioned that some PhD programs expect their students to become faculty. I definitely do want to go into academia, at least to some extent, but I also really do want to practice. So I don't know. That was really something big to consider that I had never even thought about before I heard the panel, because I was like, do I want to be part of like the faculty for like the program I'm in, like, or being like indoctrinated into it, like once I get the degree and all that. And like I understand that regardless of the PhD program, I would probably be doing like a lot of things for the school, like regardless whether it be internship related or not. But that was really, really big for me, and I don't really know how. Like I'm sure that information is provided, or I could like ask it in any interviews or whatever. But that was something really, really good to consider that I never would have thought about without the video, even though it kind of seems intuitive now that I know it. Another big thing was student culture is like a factor to be considered. That was mentioned throughout the video, and like geographical location, like, and the culture of the people. I was like, that's a really, really, really good point, because it's like sometimes I think the culture is just difficult, like in white conservative like Salt Lake City, even with the like abundance of like liberal people and like progressive ideas here, nonetheless. But it's like I could go attend grad school somewhere else entirely, and I could really vibe with the culture even less. And I'm definitely worried about that, and I had not thought about that um at all before. Like either like again, like it seems like an obvious like implication, but it's just like it wasn't something that was like going through my mind. I was like, oh, like I'm there to like work, I'm there to get my degree and like be involved in like academics. But I wasn't like, oh, like I could get there and like within the first week be like, I hate the people here, like and like I hate the culture, like I can't keep doing this. I mean, maybe 1 week's a bit of an exaggeration, but you see what I'm getting at. Um, and I'm not really sure how to research what the culture is like at in specific like PhD programs for counseling in my case. Um, but I'm sure I could maybe email or contact some individuals, but it might seem kind of weird for like someone who isn't like a candidate to contact them and ask about that. But I don't really know what the social norms are around that. So, but it was good to think about. Um, another big thing that was making me think was how like in your personal statement, like humility is like a really good thing, uh, but it's like you still want to like prove why you deserve like the opportunity, because it's kind of almost like argumentative. I thought that was a powerful point that was made, um, because I don't know, sometimes I feel like when I hear about like people writing their personal statements, or even I talk to like Julian about it, it sounds like it's just supposed to be like not like egoic at all, but like just very much like I've done this and this and this and this and this, and this is why I'd make a great candidate. But I thought that approaching it with humility especially like humility given like what the training is going to entail, is really powerful for your application, and realistic as well. Um, in addition, as far as the personal statements go, I thought it was powerful, that you shouldn't just talk about like what you believe in and like what you want to do, but like show evidence in your personal statement of what you've done. Obviously, they'll have evidence of that in your CV, but I thought it would be extra powerful to put in the personal statement, as they were mentioning in the panel. Uh, and they mentioned, especially in regard to social justice. Um, I thought that was really powerful, especially because I really want to do research in gender psychology, and obviously like gender studies are really tied in with social justice and like intersectionality and oppression and studies of all the above. It made me think about like what I can like talk about and show in my personal statement, to demonstrate my interest in researching this, and show that I'm not just bluffing. But lastly, I noticed that the grad students like really were going. They were not playing down at all how difficult the curriculum is, especially during the first couple of years. Statements I wrote down that I remember hearing was like, weekends are just tons of homework. Most of your waking hours will be reading books, writing papers, and talking about these things. And years 1 to 3 will be very academic intensive. You won't have free weekends. It's not like a day job. And then like y'all were talking about that task flexibility, as you called it. I thought that was very apt way to put it. Wearing a lot of different hats, and especially for counseling psychology, because it's like you're a scientist and a practitioner, right? And there's a lot of jobs that are involved with both those, and a student all at the same time. But I don't know. If anything, that was more terrifying than me thinking about, oh, like what am I gonna do after undergrad? Because I've been pretty dead set on attending graduate school, because I do want to be involved in academia, as I've spoken with you about. But this sounds scary. This like y'all made it sound way scarier than any other resource I've ever like read about like what graduate school is like. I knew it would be like intensive, but like y'all made it sound really like you don't have a life outside of grad school. And I know someone in the panel made sure to mention like, oh, you still can have like a social life, like it's not like that, but I got what y'all were getting at. Like that's just like a lot of work. And I don't know, it makes me think like, oh, is that something that I'm ready for right now? Or like, would a gap year, going back to gap years, would that be like more beneficial to like kind of help me like grow as a person, and like get my mindset, and like kind of kill off all the burnout of my like undergraduate studies, so I can go into upper grad like ready to work, because I'll be working harder than I'd ever have in my life, but at least it'll be something I'm really passionate about. So it went I went down like a lot of rabbit holes listening to this grad panel, and afterward as well. But those are most of the things that stood out most to me, and some concepts I was like unaware of. Yeah, I'm not really sure how you want me to end this, so I'm gonna call it a day, and I hope this worked out.